Yishem Adonai Baruch Hu Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. Today we're going to dedicate the Torah class to all the Israeli soldiers that passed away. It's Yom HaZikaron, it's a Memorial Day. Tomorrow it's the Independent Day. It's called Yom HaZikaron. It's the day that we remember our soldiers that died in all the wars, and of course the fallen soldiers. We did a special tefillah in the Bet Knesset today, this evening. We light the candles and we did an extra tefillah for the sake of their souls, and we're going to dedicate these Torah classes today for their sake, B'ezrat Hashem. We're going to continue tonight. You mean Adam?
No.
רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף לאדם ודין בני ירדנה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף מהירה. So, remember we've learned about this significant mitzvah, important mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym. There's two main reasons why washing hands in the morning is to remove the ruach ra'ah, the bad spirit, and before we eat is for the ruach tum'ah, the impure, to impurify. Yeah. Ну садись, пожалуйста. Что это делал? Тихо, пожалуйста. A little bit Russian, I want to show off. So we're doing that in order to remove the ruach tum'ah, because our hands are smushy. We touch covered body parts. Well, sometimes we.
What's the difference between the tum'ah and ruach ra?
Ruach ra'ah, it happens during the night. So when the neshama goes to shamayim, to sign, you sleep, we have only the nefesh. There's few halakim, few parts. We remain, when we are asleep, only one part of the neshama remains with us, which is the nefesh, the lowest level, like animal.
The blood.
Yes, and that time, the ruach ra'ah, the bad spirit, take advantage and attached, come to be with you, and it remains. I don't want to go through the whole thing. We discussed it before. At the tip of the fingers, it's connected to the fingernails, because Adam was covered completely before that and after. Anyways,
this is not tumah.
Huh?
This is not part of tumah.
So you have two reasons at the morning. You have tumah because your hands probably touch something, right, and you don't know, you're sleeping.
Okay.
And also the ruach ra'ah, you have two reasons. During the day, it's just the ruach tum'ah. Okay. You put your fingers in your ears, in the nose, under the kippah, in covered place areas, at the bottom of your shoe, you get a gum that got stuck, whatever. It's places that brings tum'ah, and therefore tum'ah means impurity. You understand that the word tum'ah means? אז תגיד לה את הפירוש של המילים, אתה שומע מדבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו.
Amen. It's an impurity of uncleanness.
Uncleanness, exactly. So the meaning is, I'm sorry, what? So we want to keep our hands always clean. This is a decree or is a rule that our sages set up from the Torah. So we always have clean hands to touch holy books or food and so forth and so on. The law of tum'ah, impurity or cleanness, can I say cleanness, yes, are very, very important in Judaism. Today we don't have Beit Mikdash, we don't have temple, so most of these laws we don't really practicing them. But you have to remember that back then, and B'ezrat Hashem, when we have Beit Mikdash, if, for example, I'm just throwing an example. I know you touched a dead mice. You touched a lizard. You touched an animal that was dead, a corpse. You're impure. And now it's a difference between touching or carrying. And these laws also apply for shochatim, or those in the Ashgacha do there, right? For example.
Like me, yeah.
So what if the shechit, it's a dead carcass, dead body, dead animal, and it's not kosher? Immediately it's considered nevela. Nevela is not kosher. So what's going to happen? You touch it or you carry it. So you have to carry it. You have to carry it to the boxes or to the other side of the slaughterhouse. And so all these halachot, the people that work in that should know to let someone else do that. If you touch it, it means that you're impure till the evening. That's it, and you're good. All these halachot is not really, people don't really practice that and they don't know. So people wants to go to the Bet Mikdash, so they have to purify themselves till the evening. They go to dip themselves in the mikveh, and then they go to the Temple Mount. Also, you want to bring kedusha, you want to bring holiness to your house. This is one of the ways to wash hands, to dip yourself in the mikveh. As we've learned already that there is spiritual impurity, uncleanness, right? And the way to remove it is to immerse yourself in the mikveh. There's a lot of sense behind it. You didn't learn, maybe some of you that learned that, you know what that means. Something that is spiritual cannot be mixed with water. Ruach and water are two separate things. We have fire, earth, ruach, spirit, and we have water. So when you dip yourself in the mikveh, then the ruach ra'ah has to leave the body, and now you're clean. But it has to be a certain amount of water. It's not just a shower, for example. So we have a mikveh for women, and as the Torah already described, Chemei Nida, in the water of Nida, can purify a man as well. Today, men can do different. I think we discussed it last time.
Yes.
Okay. Now, using water. What kind of water we've discussed has to be water that are drinkable, water that a dog will drink from it. What about hot water or cold water? So, we've learned that it's permissible to use hot water for Netilat Yadaiym, even if it is scalding hot. It is best. It is best, however, to use room temperature water.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. One of the reasons is that you're showing this for the sake of the mitzvah and not the sake for a pleasure or cleanness or stuff like so. Any questions so far? Okay. Many people goes to vacation, and this is vacation time. It started, right? Season of vacation. People going to the lake. People going to the sea. The barbecue on the seashore. And all of a sudden they notice that they have problems. Why? The car parked a little bit far away. They hold the equipment. And they don't have enough water for washing hands. They have enough for drinking. So they want to know if they can use the water from the river, the lake, or the sea. So, what do you think?
Yes. Life.
Did you ever see a dog drinking from the sea? It's salty water.
No, but fish do.
Which sea doesn't have fish?
The Galilee Sea.
The Dead Sea. It's salty. If a dog is incapable of drinking water because it is not putrid,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, or too saline or too bitter,
Right.
the water is not fit for the mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym. Our sages rule that in such cases, the liquid loses its status of water. Nevertheless, a mikveh filled with such water is kosher, both for people to immerse themselves and for someone to immerse his hands to fulfill the mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym. Back then, you should know, many years ago, and I know in Yemen, in some places, they didn't have mikveh. They have to go either to the seashore, to go to some lakes. Some Arab countries, it's hard. They live in the middle of places that didn't have rivers. So they had to build a mikveh. But some places in Europe, it was a big problem. Some places, it's frozen all year. They didn't have the technology to warm the water. So we hear stories about the woman that was righteous. They were breaking ice, and they go dip themselves in the mikveh in icy water. So they did it in the lake. Okay? So they can go to the seashore, to go to the lake, and so on. This is a dedication. It's called Mesirut Nefesh. This is a dedication of the woman that, regardless of the temperature out there, they dip themselves in the mikveh in order to keep and maintain the mitzvah of family purity. Today, we're too spoiled. It's very easy. We have mikvehs all over. We have here in Dallas, Baruch Hashem, a nice mikveh, clean mikveh. By the way, that we're working on now, on renovating everything. It's warm water. It's beautiful. Okay, so we learned that about the water that cannot be or can be used for washing hands. Ocean water. What about ocean water? Can I?
No.
No. Why not?
You can drink.
Can drink. Ocean water is not fit for the mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym, since it is not fit for dog to drink. That is, one may not fill a container with ocean water and pour it on the hands for Netilat Yadaiym. It is permissible, however, to immerse one's hands in the ocean water as if it was a mikveh. In this case, one must recite the blessing of Al Netilat Yadaiym. So you cannot pour, but you can dip your hand. Okay, so we can do that for.
It can be used still, but just a different way.
Right. We can do that in case you have no water and you park far away. You dip yourself rather than taking it for river and lakes. It's no problem. It's no okay.
You said when you wake up, you need to wash your hands.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the middle of the night,
Okay.
you need to wash your hands.
It's better to wash. If you didn't wash your hand, you can use what we call midi dimnake, meaning anything that can clean up. You can use a cloth or a paper cloth or a towel or the sheets on the or magavon. What do you call this? Wet wipes, right? You can do that. Some people, for example, they woke up at night and then they go like that. Just oops, I touched my ear. Oh, it doesn't have the strength to go now to the restroom to wash the hand. So we tell them you can clean your hands on the sheets, on the cloth, or on the pillow, or on the wall behind you. It's called mididim nake. It's some type of cleanness. It's not as good as water, but you can do that.
So what is the definition of sleep? So it's like you go to sleep, you wake up after an hour, 4 hours, 8 hours.
Talking about at night?
At night.
It doesn't matter if you sleep for 10 minutes and you were completely asleep. It's considered sleep. Okay. When we talked about ruach hara, bad spirit, it means only at night. It's not during the day. Someone has night shift. Obviously, he's still during the day, right? No, not. He takes siesta during the day, or in the morning, comes back from work. He still have to do that when he wakes up, but doesn't have the status of having ruach hara on his hand. By the way, when they don't sleep during the night and they're still awake, when morning comes, they still wash their hands, but they don't do the beracha. Okay. So obviously, afterwards, water has been processed in desalinization plant, purified water. Okay, can be used. By the way, sewage that has been processed and recycled, however, is disqualified for this mitzvah since it is used water. Now, if the sewage is poured onto the ground so that it seeps through the soil down to the water table, and then the water is pumped back to the surface, it is considered natural, unused water, and it is fit for Netilat Yadaiym. So if you go through the land, like the soil purified it.
That's what a filter is.
Okay.
There's all those minerals.
Now, some people have water in the restroom, either in bottles, either in natla, the cup that is full of water, the pitcher someone left for someone else, and it remains there in a place that is unclean spiritually. Right? We've learned already that there is a ruach ra'ah, It's in some type. Listen to this. It's some type of angel. I think I mentioned one of the classes that he is in every restroom in the world. This is his place where he dwells. This is why when you don't have to do anything in the restroom, just by being there, coming out, you have to wash your hand. Even if the light bulb, the switch is inside, and you just put your hand to turn off and on, you already need to wash your hands because his presence is full. So leaving food there is not a good idea. So what if someone has a pitcher full of water, right? And it was there, and he wants to wash his hand. Now, Halacha says, it is recommended to avoid using water that was taken from restroom for Netilat Yadaiym, even if the container of water was covered while it was in the restroom. If no other water is available, one may be lenient and use it. This is especially so in restroom with modern toilet facilities. The halacha regarding performing this mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym in the restroom will be explained below, and we'll get to it. Today we have a different toilet. Back then, and I remember this as a child, I saw it, we never used it, but they had toilet outside. And it was a hole, right?
It was a hole. We had it at the ranch.
Just a hole, right. And it was not clean. Today, you go to restroom, they're very clean.
That was scary.
It's clean inside, especially in the house. And there's a very strong water that takes all the dirt and clean it. You can even take the lid and cover it. So there's questions raises if one can say beracha there. So a place with combined shower and a toilet, you can't. But a place that you have only shower or jacuzzi, someone sits in the jacuzzi and he has candles and he has a wine and he wants to, I don't know, he wants to, so he wants to say bracha now over the wine. Halacha says, of course you can say lechatchila. You can bring the wine in it and you say bracha, cover yourself up to here with the water, and you can say bracha there in a place that has only the jacuzzi thingy or the shower. The shower, it's a problem because people in the shower are not covered. But in jacuzzi, you dip yourself, for example. Or if you have a bath and you fill it with water. So in that case, it will be okay. Same like with women goes to the mikveh before the dip, they say bracha, right? Anyways, in a place there is no toilet inside this room, right? Because of what we discussed before. Okay, questions?
In the Bet Knesset, if they leave the door open, there's two sections. There's one section where the toilet is,
right.
It has the doors.
It's better to be closed, but you can still wash the hands even if the door is open. Right. It's highly recommended that even at home, always close the restroom. Don't leave it open. Some people leave it open. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe they want, some have windows on both sides. They want to have the good circulation, whatever. Always leave the door closed of your restroom inside the room. Okay. Now, next. What if one wants to dip the hands in snow? We talked about dipping hands in the river, which is good. In the lake, in the sea. What about in the snow?
No problem.
It is not possible to perform the mitzvah of Netilat Yadaiym by pouring snow or hailstones from a container onto one's hands. First, the snow or ice must be melted and then the water may be used. If it is not possible to melt it and no liquid water is available, one may perform the mitzvah. Bless you. One may perform the mitzvah by pouring a revi'it of snow or ice on the hands. But one must not recite the blessing. It is certainly not possible to perform Netilat Yadaiym by rubbing one's hands on a snowball. What about dipping the hands in a stack of, a hill of snow? If 40 c 40 se'ah. Se'ah is the amount that we have in the mikveh.
Right.
Okay, 40 se'ah is the minimum for a mikveh. If 40 se'ah of snow is collected in a pit, some poskim rule that it is possible to perform Netilat Yadaiym by immerging one's hands in the snow. Others rule that that this is permissible even if one immerses the hands in snow on the ground surface and not in a pit, as long as there are 40 se'ah of snow. Nevertheless, there are poskim who rule that it is not possible in any circumstances to fulfill this mitzvah by immersing one's hands in snow. Therefore, one may rely on this leniency only when one has no other choice. Can you put maybe it's too hot over here. Okay. Now, a question that I got recently: if one can wash hands, he doesn't have water, but he has wine. Anyway, he wants to know if he can wash his hands with wine. You should know that Netilat Yadaiym, washing hands before eating, it's very, very, very important. It's saying about Rabbi Akiva, that he was captured by the Romans. He was put in jail. They gave him they gave him decent amount of water. And then one day the inspector, they says, you're trying to escape, you want to dig a tunnel. He gave him less than half what he used to get. It was barely for drinking. And they noticed that he's using half of the water to wash his hands. He's wasting water instead of using it for drinking. And he told them a great lesson that this is so important to do Netilat Yadaiym. And he says, drinking, this is for me, for myself, that will survive. But if I don't wash my hands, I'm breaking the law that our sages taught us, and I cannot do that. Eventually it was, anyways, I don't want to go there. It's about the Omer, maybe one day we'll discuss that, about what happened with Rabbi Akiva, a very special figure in the Jewish history. Rabbi Akiva, all the Torah, most of the Torah we have today is from Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva, his parents were convert. Okay? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you heard about him? He's his student. Okay. So, Rabbi Akiva lived till the age of 120. He have 3 wives. And anyways, Rabbi Akiva was one of the greatest tzaddikim. Say in Kabbalah, thank you for the minute. Say in Kabbalah that the soul of Yaakov Avinu was in Rabbi Akiva. And he came for rectify, for something, I think we mentioned that in the other class. Now, let's answer the question about the wine. If someone has any other choice, okay, if someone has any other, where's the tissue? It's the allergy season today. If someone has any other choice, he should avoid performing Netilat Yadaiym with wine. If no water is available, however, he may use wine. In fact, he may use any natural fruit juice or beer in such a case. There is a firm basis to justify reciting the blessing of Al Netilat Yadaiym when performing the mitzvah in this manner. So, as we discussed last time, lechatchila, when you have water, use water. In case you don't have water, so either, we'll see it later, cover the hands with something, or as we've learned, use any other type of liquid. Okay? If any of the above beverages are available, what beverages? Did I mention beverages? Yeah. Juice, beers. Okay. If any of the above beverages are available, one should use it rather than use a colored soft drink such as cola. If cola is only the beverage available, one may use it for the mitzvah, but one must not recite the blessing when using transparent soft drinks such as a club soda or lemon lime soda. Reciting the blessing is rented. Okay, meaning that you can do the beracha. You see how the halacha goes. You don't have this, use wine. How important it is to wash hands before you eat bread. If you eat food, no bread, there's no Netilat Yadaiym required, right? You can eat rice, everything besides bread or pizza or something that is. You have to wash your hands. If you want to eat large amount of burekas, for example, okay, it's over 216 grams. It's already considered as that you have a sauda now. Then you have to wash and even say hamotzi, or something that usually would say boreh minem zonot. Question.
If you would use one of those liquids, it feels like you're going to make your hands dirty.
Nonetheless, the Netilat Yadaiym mitzvah is greater. It's going to be sticky, yes. So you can use wipes to take the stickiness or whatever out of it. But it's to show you how it's important to do Netilat Yadaiym, to purify the hands. You don't want to eat food that is tameh. Tameh means impure. For some people, it's very hard to accept the idea of tameh, not tameh, because something you don't see. Right. I see that the bread, the pita, is clean. It's beautiful. What are you talking about tameh? Let me tell you. If you did Netilat Yadaiym with all the kavanot and the words, and you put the yud and the ken, the bam, everything together, but you didn't dry them well, and you touch the bread, you make it impure now. Tameh! You don't see anything, but neshama feels. It was an organization called Arachim. It's still Arachim in Israel. They main goal is outreach. They're going to they do seminars, and a lot of people did teshuvah, going to their weekends in hotel. They ask all the questions they have about Judaism, Christianity, Islam, the conflicts, what is the meaning of life, afterlife. They get answer all the questions. Never had the chance, now they get Baruch Hashem answers. So many do teshuvah. One time they noticed a guy that he has a lot of questions, and usually they have very big Baruch Hashem success, but this guy was stubborn. At the very end, Melave Malka Motzei Shabbat, he said, "You know what, guys, you didn't convince me." He got answers for all the questions, but I see that there's something here. I will accept upon myself one thing to do. Give me one mitzvah, I'll do it. He came obviously with his wife, and so they said, "Okay, hold on. What are we going to do? Which mitzvah are we going to give him? Shabbat, family purity. Every time he lives with his wife without her going to the mikveh, it's a karet. Which mitzvah we should give him?" What you would say? You're saying Netilat Yadaiym. What do you say? Beracha to eat. So they said, you know what? We're going to ask Shaila. We're going to go. They ask a great rabbi. Ask Rabbi Shach. Rabbi Shach, Rosh Yeshiva of Panovich, one of the greatest Ashkenazi rabbi, passed away a few years ago. And they were sure that the rabbi will tell them Shabbat. He's saying he's going to keep one mitzvah. Give him Shabbat. And then he told them, tell them to eat kosher food. Accept upon themselves kosher food with good kashrut. But that's something good. That's it. Rabbi,
that's it.
They told them, they called them back, the seminar is off. They told them, we consulted with the rabbi, he says eating kosher. That's it? Yes, that's it. Okay, he accept upon himself like with Shavua, with raising hand, making a pledge, Yeah. Soon later, he started to investigate more and more about Judaism. Long story short, the whole family did teshuvah. Today it's already it's a third generation that they're all dati, charedi, yeshivot, everything. But they went back to Rabbi Shach and says, Rabbi, why from everything that he was willing to make a commitment, you told us, he says, because it says in the Torah, Ki hadam hu hanefesh, because the nefesh is in the blood. And when the nefesh is contaminated, he's not going to hear anything. He's going to keep Shabbat here and there, and that's it. First, you need to go through a purification, cleansing. Clean up the system. Eat kosher food. Then he become a vessel, a kli, to learn more mitzvot. Then he's going to ask the question by himself. The neshama is clean now. It's not covered with all the masachim. Eat kosher. Now he's ready.
Remember, Mr. Rashi did they started doing one seminar like that for 3 days. They said at the beginning that they didn't want to do any blessings whatsoever. All they were doing is just eating. That's it, just eating kosher. So at the end of the 3 days, these guys they were fighting. They didn't want to be in there. They were already now interested.
Right.
So
people look at their financial status. They say, hold on, I can buy chicken breast for $1.99, or sometimes 99 cents per pound in Walmart. It looks pretty nice and pretty clean. You ask me to buy kosher, it costs $8.99, it's almost 9 times more. It's crazy. By the way, I have Israel sell it for $6.99. Right. So,
please contribute.
Coming back from commercial. You should know every expense you take for Hashem will brings back. But you have to show him emunah. You don't make conditions with God, deals. If I do this, no, you do. Like Bnei Israel did. Naaseh, and then we'll hear. We'll do, and then we will hear. Every dime you spend over Hashem's mitzvot, Hashem will give back. It's a simple thing to do. You see poor families, or average families, they're spending a lot of money over kosher food. But Baruch Hashem, go to their houses, open the refrigerator, it's Baruch Hashem full of food. No problem. First step, starting eating kosher. Inside, outside, include everywhere. Someone told me the other day, Rabbi, I'm eating kosher, but I look something, I don't know. So I told him, it's kosher. It's kosher. His wife was convert, and my girl, he's not living here in Spain. But so then, what do you mean? He says, kosher. You checked my house, and I checked his house. It's really kosher, and he used to buy the meat from me. A house is kosher. His wife was really strict. Fine. But I told you, even eating outside, so everything I eat outside is kosher.
Huh?
So I told them, hold on, you're driving to Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, there's no kosher restaurant there. So what do you mean? I'm going to 7-Eleven and just buy the tuna sandwiches and
they also sell bread.
Right. Tuna sandwiches and the, what do you call, not salami, turkey. Turkey? Hold on. We studied for a year. He says, but Turkey is kosher, no? I said, but it's not. I have to explain, but he was very naive. He didn't do it. So I told him, you can't eat elsewhere. So what should I do? I said, prepare a sandwich at home. What everyone else do, millions of Jews do. Prepare meals at home. You can't buy even a tuna sandwich anywhere. They might cut shrimps with it and they cut tuna. I don't know. They have to be kosher everywhere.
But they sell chips.
Days later, so you know about you save me money, by the way. I'm making sandwiches at home. Okay, if you come to this, it's okay. Huh?
No, but they sell, if you look in every convenience store, you can find something. You don't have to starve.
Right. So what he did, he says what he did, he buy the chocolate thingy. What do you call it? I love it.
Bars.
I used to buy it. I used to eat it a lot.
Sneakers.
The Snickers. Wow, the best. The Snickers. The best. You should say bracha with full kavanah on a Snicker. It's some olam. Right, but he wants to have food, real food.
Yeah, I buy boiled eggs with a hechsher. At 7-Eleven, boiled eggs.
If it's with hechsher, it's fine. No problem. Okay, so prepare yourself. Eat kosher. You're going to start seeing your body has been cleansed. Neshama get clean, and then you have more passion to study Torah. You understand more. Remember, I told you I have a class on Sundays before the Corona on the Goldstein's family in Hebrew. Going over the Tanakh, going deeply. I had a guy many years ago, maybe 12 years ago, 13 years ago, that I asked him to come to my classes, and once he came, twice, I said, Rabbi, I'm there, I get here and there, I don't understand anything you're saying. But it's very simple. It's simple text. And we go to the Mefarshim commentary and explain King David and Goliath and all the scenes. It's very interesting. You can't get it. Give me an advice. I want to be there. So then I found out that he's not eating kosher. So I told him, start to eat kosher. He did. Long story short, he come back to me with a month and a half later, says, Rabbi, the classes are great. I said, you start to eat kosher? He says, yes. He's eating kosher at home and outside. He's already in Israel, lives in Beersheba, he's not here anymore.
No.
And he, so that was a test also for me to see that it works. When you start to eat kosher, all of a sudden the Torah words are, coming into your head and stick to you. They don't.
Yeah.
You become a vessel to accept Torah. It sounds strange when you say it. When you practice it, when you do it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
The neshama, the nefesh has to be clean before it will be able to accept the Torah. Okay, any questions? And I think we're going to stop here for today. Be'ezrat Hashem, next week we will learn about the amount. Oh, we didn't talk about the amount of water, right? The amount of water. What's the minimum amount? Well, on page 175. Page 175. You want to write down to remind me next time? We're going to talk about the amount of water required. What's the minimum? What's the maximum? What's the minimum on each hand? And so forth and so on. Any questions? Thank you. So, these Torah words are, as we said, are dedicated to the Israeli soldiers. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to thank everyone that are supporting us and helping us to maintain Torah classes and helping families in needs. Anyone that makes a donation, go to ohevisrael.org or Zelle to my phone number. And you become actually, by giving a donation, a partner of all the Torah learning that we do. God bless you. See you momentarily with the second part of the class.